Please, can you help? Members please, we are about. Thank you very much. Can we be seated? And I know this morning we have chosen to live in peace, inheritance from history, whether collectively as a nation, we must strive to keep our nation. That is why this morning the federal government led up to interface to interact with the people, with the advisor. We welcome in our midst the Governor of Plateau State, His Excellency Simon Anu, Chairman. Good morning, sir. We also thank Honorable Waziri Tambuwalu, Governor Secretary, Governor. We have in our midst also the Governor of Percy, Alhaji Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, the Governor of Kebbi State. Pulled out all the governors of the Northwest Zone to a meeting in 2021 should be a serious issue. Whatever to Georgia with the people, to stand with the people, to hear from us, and for us to hear, we have to consider very important. We have the security forces to meet with the governors and the people of public security, public harmony, and indeed, the person is no less than a strong personality and made strong contributions to the security of the nation, having served and still serving. The National General Muguno retired, the next 8 son. The Chief of Army Staff is also here. He is the Chief of Naval Staff, Rear Admiral Awal Zubairu, is not here. Good morning, sir. We also have the IGP of Police as represented by the Commissioner of Health, by Mr. Idris Koya Pasai, the State Director of Security Intelligence Agency, is represented by Mr. Emmanuel Nama. And indeed, intelligence is here. Air Vice Marshal Mohammed Sadi Osman, okay, represented. Sorry. My error, please. Sorry, sir, good morning, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished from all walks of life to Kaduna State, representing different shades of opinions, and distinguished members of the early services of the Nigerian Armed Forces, government officials, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, the peace that we are pursuing will not elude us. The essence of the town hall is this is a mix, a strong mix of the traditional institution, the government officials, to take what I will live in peace. My name is Dr. Peter Hafnaya, and while we just ahead, okay, the Commissioner for Internal Security, Kaduna.
Our meeting is intended to let everyone know, especially the governors of the Northwest, as well as the good people, Nigerians, and of course everyone that inhabits the geographic space in the Northwest, that the situation in the Northwest, security-wise, is of concern to the Commander-in-Chief and to everyone who is in the defense and security sector. And to also let you know that your concerns have remained deep in our hearts. And to also give you assurance that we are not resting on our oars. We have come to give you assurance that some reorganizations are being undertaken currently that will help to change the tide of insecurity in this part of the country. Let me equally note that it is not only in this part of the country, it's actually across the land. And so we are in no doubt as to whether there are issues. We're in no doubt as to whether you have concerns that we appreciate and we have noted, and that's the reason why we felt we need to be here in our numbers. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say that perhaps there are reports that you may have heard or you may have seen, both in the traditional media as well as online media. Some complications have come with reports that are not true. A few others, of course, are reports that are true, but of course not in the light of what you may have read. So our coming today is more of filling your impulse and reassuring you that the federal government, under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, is not asleep in terms of security, because the National Security Advisor and myself, as well as the service chiefs, and of course the Inspector General of Police, the Director General SSS, and every other heads of the security agencies, we are working to ensuring that there is a difference. I'm sure a good number of you know that the service chiefs and I just took over the reins of leadership of the armed forces barely 2 weeks ago. And so you would expect that some reorganization is currently ongoing. But that does not imply that security, which is a continuum, is not being provided. But we can only use this medium to appeal to you to know that we, as those who have been charged with responsibility of ensuring that there is peace and security across the land, data have been collected, our data is being collected, which will enable us to change the tide. I know that in this meeting today, some governors will be making one or two comments in order to reassure you, since of course they are the political heads as well as the heads of various security within their states. But we believe that coming together as a group it will be essential for you to know that we are working in concert in ensuring that security is brought back to our land.
We have a nation, we have to save it. If there is no peace and tranquility in this nation, nothing will work for any one of us. So I think this is the time we all come together as Nigerians to see that things are working. And this is only possible if every individual will contribute his quota in seeing that there is tranquility, peace, and progress in this nation. That's why I'm happy to attend this town hall meeting, especially when we have a new cadre of security chiefs. The mere coming here shows that the government is really proactive and the government is now really serious. It wants to tackle the insecurity in the nation. And I think for this, they deserve our accolade. And I'm calling on all clergy, Muslims and Christians. This is the time for you to come out and forget any differences and any rancor between us. Please go into your churches, go into your mosques. Reach out to people in the rural areas. Reach out to them and tell them, look, peace is possible in Nigeria and Nigeria's prosperity is possible, and we have seen the light at the end of the tunnel. So I thank the government for organizing this town hall meeting, and I seriously hope that it will achieve in dousing tension. As for what is happening in the southwest, we should see that it's just minority miscreants that are trying to divide the nation. We should never take our laws into our hands. Let me speak for Islam, because I'm a Muslim clergy. In the Quran, Allah told us, وَإِذَا جَاءَهُمْ أَمْرٌ مِّنَ الْأَمْنِ أَوِ الْخَوْفِ أَذَاعُوا بِهِ وَلَوْ رَدُّوهُ إِلَى الرَّسُولِ وَإِلَى أُولِي الْأَمْرِ مِنْهُمْ لَعَلِمَهُ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَنبِطُونَهُ مِنْهُمْ. The Quran is saying that whenever something of fear or something of security comes to people, they go on and spread it. They go into media or everything and spread it. No, this is not the way to do it. Take things back to the authority. The authority will know how to tackle it. So I'm very happy now that the authority itself is seeking for answers. It's asking people, what do you want? What can we do? So this is a very big step in diagnosing the problem, and I hope the solution will come also. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, be careful here.
We are here once again to deliberate and to hear and to organize ourselves. We, in the northwestern part of this country, we have a history. We started meeting way back in 2016 to see how we can address the issue of cattle rustling there, which later developed into banditry, kidnapping, arson, rape, and all other forms of criminality. So the meeting today is a wake-up call for all of us, especially those governors of northwestern part of this country, in order to fulfill the responsibilities and duties of the government for protecting lives and properties of the citizens. And in this, we will not fail. We will continue until security is achieved, everybody is secure. I think the idea of town hall, when it comes, I think will be good, because it will rhyme with what we are doing currently in Kaduna State, that security is community-based. So we are involving the last person in the community as part of the community awareness, because everybody must be on the same page. If you look at the hamlets, the villages, the towns in Nigeria, look at the numbers in terms of security officers and officials. It means all of us, we must go back to our communities, build community relations, restore what was there before. Because 10 years ago, the situation was not as bad as it is today. There was community living, and the community living has broken down. Why did it break down? So I think all of us, we have a responsibility National Security Advisor and New Services, let me start also congratulate you in your new assignments. Some of you are not new faces to what we are discussing, but you are in new positions which you can do better than what you did yesterday. We wish you God's guidance and protection and success in your new assignments. So on behalf of Northwestern State Governors, we assure the people of Northwest that security for us is a must. It is our responsibility and we will provide for that. And we will also call on our governors, which I believe they are all doing their best in all the parts of the country, that we take responsibilities for protecting our lives of our people and their properties, irrespective of where they come from, irrespective of their ethnicity, irrespective of their religious belief. This is one Nigeria, and this is what we must work. Humanity is humanity, wherever he is, whichever color he has, whichever religion he follows, whichever language he believes.
Daily, the armed forces, the police, and other security agencies are losing lives. The bandits are becoming bolder. They even have the audacity now to attack military camps and ambush those on patrol. Lives are being lost, yet some people that are not informed say that nothing is being done. We pray for the soul of the deceased, and we thank and commend the armed forces for what they are doing, along with other security agencies, to make our state safer. We are not where we should be, but ladies and gentlemen, things would have been much worse if the armed forces, the police, and other security agencies are not doing what they are doing, which many people feel is not enough. But those of us that engage daily with them and receive security reports know that they are doing as well as they can in the circumstances. We need to support our military, our police, our security agencies, not only with prayers, but with calls for them to be better equipped, to be greater in numbers, so that these problems can be crushed once and for all. The fact that within 2 weeks of taking reins of office, the generals, marshals, and admirals have not only been to the northeast for an extended period, but they are here in the northwest to engage with stakeholders to map out a new strategic security architecture that will end the insecurity we've suffered once and for all, is something that is commendable, and we're very grateful to the service chief for this show of commitment. We congratulate you on your appointment and we wish you well. I speak on behalf of all my colleagues, the governors, that we are confident that under your leadership, based on your past track records, we will see renewed vigor to end this affliction that has affected our economy, our livelihoods, and even peaceful coexistence amongst our communities.
We are fully aware, we have not been sleeping, and you can clearly see that the entire security chiefs are here in this hall today. And this is in response to the current situation every Nigerian is going through. And we appreciate their coming, which means at least the government is not sleeping. They have answered our calls. They have now started responding to the current realities in Nigeria. We have been bleeding over time because of the carnage taking place across the country. which is not acceptable. Everybody is not happy about this. And with this development, as rightly said by Sheikh Gumi, this is not the time to escalate situations, but it's time, to reunite as a people so that we can have one indivisible nation as we used to have. Therefore, I'm taking this opportunity, even though most of the stakeholders, the traditional rulers from the Sultan downward, are not yet here. But I believe, as rightly mentioned, we're going to reconvene and then come up with a very solid position, which will certainly be the guiding light, for all of us. So this, I'm calling on all our people to please embrace each other, Muslims and Christians, and even the pagans, should come together and love each other as against fighting and killing, which is senseless.
The purpose of this gathering is actually to address some very, very serious security concerns which have been afflicting our country today. The gathering for today is not just designed for the Northwest Zone. It is our intention to visit all the other 5 zones and to have this sort of meeting. The federal government of Nigeria, under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, is very, very worried about what is going on. President Buhari himself is deeply saddened and is deeply concerned about the unwanted loss of lives, innocent lives, all over the country. What has been going on in the Northeast and Northwest is indeed very, very troubling to all of us. And he is committed to bringing an end to this terrible situation in which we keep killing each other without regard for the other person's right to live, and to undertake his legitimate undertakings of whatever choice of pursuit of work he or she has decided to undertake. Now, it is true that security is the primary responsibility of government. Nobody is running away from that, nobody is denying that. It is the fundamental responsibility of government to secure the lives of its citizens and their property. And that is why we've decided to take the bull by the horn. Myself and my colleagues, the Chief of Defense Staff, have decided that yes, while it is the responsibility of government to harness all its resources to deal with threats, emergent threats, seen and unseen, it is also important for us to note that the nature of insecurity, conflict in the 21st century is different from what we knew in the last century, and that is why it requires a multifaceted approach in dealing with these situations. Particularly, we need to complement each other. Government needs to be complemented by the political leadership as well as the traditional and religious leadership and the larger community, which has the greatest responsibility of policing itself. I don't want to believe that we're unable to put an end to what is going on in this country. Perhaps we've not had the will to do that as a people. But for government, I want to reassure you that the government, especially with the arrival of the new leadership in the armed forces and intelligence agencies, government is redoubling its commitment to secure the lives of people. But you must understand that government is only one leg of the tripod. That is why we have decided to work on a whole of government approach in combination with a whole of society approach to achieve a whole of nation result. That is why we are engaging you. President Buhari is emphatic, he is committed, he is determined, he is relentless in his vigorous pursuit to bring an end to insecurity in this country, and I want to assure you that that will happen. Again, there is a need for all of us to work not just within our own local communities, but to also look upwards and sideways. So all the tiers of government will be working together with the wider society and the defense, security, and intelligence agencies to deal with this issue. I know there are lots of people outside who may be trying to undermine the effort of government and the traditional institution. That is also going to be brought to an end. As difficult as it sounds, it is not impossible. And one thing President Buhari has always said is that many of us do not realize that as diverse as we are as a nation, our greatest strength resides in that diversity. Other countries have been able to achieve unity in their diversity, and there is actually no reason why a country like Nigeria cannot do the same. There's absolutely no reason why outlaws, irresponsible people can go about doing whatever they like, giving vent to their homicidal instincts just to achieve some warped end. This is going to end, and I'm reassuring you that with the new service chiefs, there is a new direction in confronting these problems. All we require is your understanding and patience. A lot of lives have been lost. It is unfortunately we can't bring back the dead from where they are. We can only pray for the repose of their souls. But the issue of us converging as a nation to deal with our problems is extremely important. It is the most important thing for us to realize now in the 21st century that our greatest strength is not even in our human or natural resources, it's in our diversity. As diverse as we are, we have a lot of latent potentials that need to be actualized. So I want you to understand that I'm so happy that His Highness, the Emir of Zazzau is here with us and Sheikh Gumi is here with us. It is unfortunate that the time was so short, we were not able to get a true representation of both the traditional and religious leadership of the Northwest. And I have decided, in consultation with their excellencies and my colleagues in uniform, that we will reconvene when we have a more robust gathering here. Now, before I end my address, I want you to also understand that you need to educate your colleagues at whatever level. We have a lot of people, even though they're educated, they're superstitious, we have a lot of people who have been engaging in a lot of things that are undermining national security. We have a lot of superstitious people also. It is the duty of the grassroots to try and provide the human intelligence to the larger governmental platforms to deal with these problems. A lot of people are now in despair, they are despondent, but I want to give you hope by telling you that you have a set of officers and intelligence officials who have decided to redesign, to look at the previous strategy that was in place so that we give boost to whatever is happening. Some of us are spiritual in our thinking. There are people who believe that there is no hope again, that things have come to a halt, that we've reached a dead end, and which reminds me of what we are told in the book of Matthew chapter 24 verses 6 to 9, which they say, when the end of time comes, brother will be against brother, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, people will be put to affliction and all kinds of things. I don't think this is exactly the end of time. It may be a reflection of what will happen at the end of time, because the other thing you can say is, how come the end of time has not come for other people living in other parts of the world? So please let us dispel any illusions of everything is caving in on us. That is not so. We have to pull ourselves by the bootstrap and begin to re-engineer society and become each and everyone's keeper.